Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Spartan, and in today's video, this is going to be a follow-up to my Orb Devo guide video, as I mentioned I'd be doing. And essentially, today I'm just going to be answering all of the questions that you guys had about Orb Devo. Before I do that, if you are new to Orb Devo and haven't seen my guide, I will leave a link to it in the description below. I put a lot of effort into that video, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys would go check it out and maybe throw a like on it if you found some value in it. Also, huge thanks. I posted a post on my channel and we hit 1,000 subscribers. So huge thanks for that. And also, I think it was yesterday evening, I actually was gifted a stone pack, and that is super, super nice. That allowed me to max my cooldown on my black hole. So that is super, super, super awesome. And whoever sent that, feel free to leave a comment or message me on Discord, because yeah, whoever that was, thank you very much. Like, I'm really grateful. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into these questions. I've got I think I have 17 or 18 questions here, so this may take a little bit. But the first question about Orb Devo was, could I basically explain the relationship between range, shockwave size, orbs, and black hole? For example, I set my range at 40 meters. Why do I do that? And I set my shockwave size at 1.1. Why do I do that? The very first thing that you should notice right now as my black hole is going off is it effectively is covering the entirety of my tower. And the whole reason that you want to, there's 3 different places that most people set their range at. Some will just do 30, some will do 40 like I'm doing, and then some will take it all the way up to 69.5, which is maxed. Where you put your range is going to be pretty much dependent on how much black hole coverage you have. You can kind of see the enemies are spawning in, and there is very, very little area that is not covered by my black holes. So what I'm talking about is your black hole size. Mine is currently at 60 meters, and I have 2 of them. So you can see dang near the entire screen is covered by my black hole. So that's the first thing that you want to consider is my black hole big enough to go to 40 meters or big enough to go to 69.5? If it's not, probably a good place to start would just be at 30 meters. So essentially unleveled. And where you put your shockwave size is you basically want to have your shockwave size not push enemies out too far. So I'm just going to tell you the general numbers that people will go with is for range 30 without a wall. They will do range 30 shockwave size of 0.9 or 1, somewhere between there. For range 40, like I'm running, I will do anywhere between 1.10 or 1.05. So yeah, the biggest thing is you don't want the shockwave to push enemies into your orbs and kill them, because the whole purpose of the shockwave is to bring the basic small enemies close to your tower so that they can hug it and basically die to thorn damage. And your tanks therefore survive longer and get pulled into your black holes so that you can make 3 billion a minute, like I'm currently doing. So that's really the biggest reason why it's important. But the main consideration that you're going to want to base the rest of it off of is your black hole size. So I would say if you're just starting out and you have a black hole size that's a lot smaller, probably just do 30 meters for now. And once your black hole size gets a little bigger, you'll be in a position to get kind of like where I'm at right now, where you can do range 40. And honestly, I'm probably pretty close to doing max range. I don't even know how many levels there are of black hole size, but I got to be getting close. So that's the first question. Oh my gosh, I need to get quicker with this and not ramble, because there's a lot of questions. So question number 2, how impactful are the coin gains? I guess I'll just talk about kind of where I was before I started Orb Devo. So I started Orb Devo at about 50 billion lifetime earned coins. And I think if I was farming like tier 6 or tier 7, I would get around 40 to 50 billion per run. You know, it's good, but it's definitely not anything like what I'm doing now. Now I'm currently at 7.6 trillion lifetime earned coins, and it's been maybe a little over a month since I started doing Orb Devo. And now I'm generally averaging anywhere between like 275 to 350 billion per run. That's an example for me why it's been so impactful. But I will say that it will strictly depend on how good your Econ Labs are. My Econ Labs, I have been non-stop, if you guys have been following the channel, non-stop pushing Econ Labs. Yeah, I've got Golden Tower level 17, Black Hole level 17, Death Wave coin bonus level 16. Definitely, if you want to see those coin increases be even more substantial, I'd recommend upgrading your Ultimate Weapon Labs because it has been a game changer. All right, question number 3. How do you deal with the Protector enemies and the vampires? So if you are very early on starting out in the game and you're wanting to try Orb Devo, those Protectors can be pains in the butt, for sure. So I'm just going to say, I don't know exactly when you get it unlocked in the labs to upgrade, but you can actually get target priority, and I put 2 levels into it to max it out. And you can rank Protectors wherever you want them. So I have my Protectors all the way at the top. Then I have enemies in my spotlight so that I get the coin bonus from that. Then basics after that. And then basically anything closest beyond that. So for vampires, you're going to want the Garlic Thorns lab. And you're going to want it fully maxed. It does 5% of the vampire's health every second. So that will be super, super helpful for getting those pesky vampires out of there. Question number 4 is, does the attack speed lab affect trimming too much? I will generally, because my damage is so low, I will actually just max out attack speed during my run. I don't have the labs super developed. I would say, honestly, for that case, if you're worried about your attack speed affecting trimming and you're early on in the run, slowly upgrading your thorns to 34 or 35%, and you notice that you're starting to trim too many, you can just back off on the thorns for a little bit and not upgrade the thorns until you start seeing more and more basics kind of stack up. The short answer is no, it doesn't really affect it too bad because you can manage it, I guess, if that makes sense. So question 5 is, why should you use the extra orbs card versus the workshop orbs? Your workshop orbs, yeah, you can have a max of 4 of them, and the biggest issue I've seen with them is you can't place the workshop orbs somewhere specific. You hit them, then they essentially go to whatever your max tower range is. The reason that I like to use the extra orbs card, and the guides all suggest that, is for your extra orbs adjuster. I can set this at whatever I want, and you can't do that with workshop orbs. Number 6 is, will free upgrade relics hurt my runs? If you don't know what the free upgrade relics are, I don't actually know if there's one currently. I think there is. Yeah, increase free defense by 1%. The relics are not a hard stat. They are a multiplier. That does not bring up my free upgrade percent by 1 here until I put levels into it. It's a multiplier. So anything times 0, in this case, level 0. So 1 times 0 is still 0, and therefore will not affect your runs. Question 7 is, what is the most efficient way to upgrade your ultimate weapons? So when you're first upgrading your ultimate weapons, I would say the number 1 priority, depending on how early you are in the game, is try to get your Death Wave, Golden Tower, and Black Hole in sync. And if you know you don't have Death Wave, if you don't have Black Hole, whatever, just the main thing is you want to try to get whatever ultimate weapons that provide coin multipliers, you want to get those in sync. So that's priority number 1. Priority number 2, you're going to want to make sure that your Black Hole duration ends up being at least 25 seconds with your Black Hole perk. Basically, you want the duration after you have the perk. Like right now, mine after the perk is 31 seconds. So I have that way so that it also matches my Golden Tower. The reason you want to do that is for the Protector enemies. So if you have the Black Hole Damage Lab, which I currently do, it's 2% of their health every second. Basically, the way that the math works is 25 seconds at least on your ultimate weapon on your black hole duration. After 2 pulls, as in 2 pulls with the protector activating inside of your black hole, it will kill them. Next question is, how does Orb Devo affect cell income? You get more cells depending on A, the tier that you're farming, and B, the amount of waves that you go. A lot of people will say for Orb Devo, if you could, for example, get only to wave 3,000 like I am doing Orb Devo, and then you would start to die right after that, that would not be very efficient for your cells. So therefore, you would want to drop the tier to basically whatever you could get to around wave 4, 4,500 to 5,000, just doing Orb Devo. That would be what a lot of people would say. What other people say, and this is what I do as well, is once I get to the point where, you know, I no longer have my package recovery and I'm actually struggling, I will then switch into Blender. So I will switch my card preset to my Blender preset, and I will upgrade all of my free ups and then just try to extend the wave that way. So that is the biggest difference, and probably one of the biggest downsides with Orb Devo is that it does affect your cell income if you don't really know what you're doing. But as long as you are farming at a tier where you can maximize both coins and cells, then you'll be really set. So I've been kind of hanging around tier 7 for 2 weeks now, and doing that, I am still able to keep all of my labs at ×2 speed. So I feel really good about that at the moment with how my tower is. Eventually, I'll be climbing to tier 8, and we'll see if I can get a couple in 3 times speed, you know? Next question is, what would you suggest for having your synced ultimate weapon cooldowns before starting? This is talking about your ultimate weapons that provide coin bonuses, so Death Wave, Golden Tower, and Black Hole. Personally, this may not be the quote-unquote right answer, but I don't think it really matters what the cooldown is unless they are synced up. Obviously, you would want it as low as you can so that you can maximize your coins, but as long as they're synced, as far as I'm aware, that's the only requirement. As far as what I would suggest, I think that the 3 minutes and 20 seconds is what I started with, and it worked well for me. Even with that high of a cooldown, I was seeing very significant differences in my coin income. I will say the higher your cooldowns are, your synced up cooldowns, the harder it will be to properly manage your basic enemies because they are getting pulled to your black holes less frequently. So keep that in mind. Next question is, what ultimate weapon module should I use if I currently have a natural sync? I do not have a natural sync, and I don't think I can even get a natural sync now that I maxed my black hole cooldown. So I'm pretty much locked in with Multiverse Nexus. But if you have a natural sync and you're looking for a good alternative to Multiverse Nexus, a lot of people, I believe, would recommend Ohm Chip, however you pronounce that. And that will just have your spotlight focus on the bosses. That's good because it will automatically make the bosses give you a coin multiplier with the spotlight. Dimension Core, that's, I believe, more for tournaments. Harmony Conductor, you really don't want to use because you're not going to be using Poison Swamp. So, yeah, I think Ohm Chip would honestly probably be your best alternative to Multiverse Nexus. We'll say, if you have Multiverse Nexus, I would still use it because once it gets to Ancestral, you get a minus 10-second cooldown to your synced cooldown. Next question is, how/when do you decide to increase your thorn percentage? During the run, I always instantly start by just putting it at level 5 or 6. And what I will do is really just, I will wait as long as I can until I start seeing my tanks get really, really close to my orbs when the shockwave goes off. Then that's when I bring it up another 5 levels. And I essentially just repeat that process up until I get it to 34%. Next question is, How does Orb Devo change when you use the wall? I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't have wall. I've never really used it, so I can't confidently speak on it. I will say there are some very good other content creators on YouTube that have made videos that cover when you are using a wall. I know that it changes what you want your shockwave size at, but I can't really remember like what the numbers are, and I just can't really remember. But I will say Jay Plays has a really good comprehensive guide on Orb Devo, so I will leave a link to that in the description as well so that you guys can go check it out. And he does cover if you are using wall. So if you have wall and you're trying to do Orb Devo, or you're close to needing to start working on wall, like I am, like I probably should have done like 2 weeks ago. If you're using a wall, I would recommend going and checking out his video because it is really good. And the link will be in the description. Next question is, should I spend gems on cards or modules if my modules are not necessarily ideal for Orb Devo? So I think what this is talking about is, let's say I don't have G-Comp, I don't have Multiverse Nexus, I don't really have anything good in my modules, so should I try to pull some good modules or should I work on my cards? What I would say, and I have this opinion, I know some people may disagree, but this is my personal opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. If your common cards, so all of these guys here, if these are not max level, I would not recommend spending gems on modules until you get all of these to max level, which is level 7. The biggest thing is you get a guaranteed return on investment for spending gems on cards, and you do not get a return on investment that's guaranteed when you spend it on modules. What this means is if I buy a card right now, I am guaranteed to get something. If I spend a gem on modules, I'm more than likely going to get these. And there's 40 gems down the drain. That is why. So definitely try to get all of these maxed prior to starting working on modules. The next 3 questions, these are actually the last 3 of the video, but these are mostly pertaining to tournaments. Can you still do tournaments after doing a respec? And yes, you can, but I will say, if you respec and there's a tournament open, make sure that you actually go in your workshop and get it set up for Orb Devo prior to starting the tournament. If you don't, obviously all of your stats are just going to be level 0 stats, and that's not good. Follow the guide, upgrade what you need to upgrade for Orb Devo, and then start your tournament run. Next question pertaining to tournaments is, will Orb Devo affect my tournament ranking negatively? Some people will say yes. However, if I look in my history here, I started Orb Devo, what did I say, about a month ago. So I believe when I was like January 1st, this run here when I first got to Platinum League. And you can see I've steadily gotten better since then. And I kind of peaked at rank 30 in champion, and now I'm back in plat. All that to say, for me, in my experience, it has not negatively affected. If anything, it has actually positively affected my tournaments, because all of the extra coins I've been getting, I've been able to get my health where I want it. I've been able to get my regen a lot higher, and my enemy attack level skips. All of this stuff I've been able to get higher because I've had more coins to actually spend on it. It may be kind of a temporary trade-off until you get a few weeks of Devo in, but in the long run, I believe it will actually help you in tournaments because you'll have a better developed workshop. And the last and final question is, what is my strategy for tournaments while I am in Devo mode? So while my workshop is Devoed, and yeah, I don't have free ups or anything, how do I do tournaments? So the easiest way for me to explain it is basically I will essentially just do blender. So my first priority is like before wave like 60 or 80, I want to try to have all of my free ups completely maxed, which is pretty doable. And after that, I will start upgrading all of the relatively cheaper stuff like attack speed, range, multi-shot, all the cheaper stuff. Basically just try to get everything upgraded until all I have is health, regen, defense absolute, damage. That's my strategy for tournaments, and it, like I said, has been working pretty decently for me. That is going to conclude today's video, and thank you guys again so much for all the support so far. And I'm going to reiterate, if you're still watching, the person who gifted me that stone pack, I really appreciate it. And please message me on Discord. Reach out to me. My name in the Discord is just Spartan, so you can find me. And yeah, just reach out, and just so that I can properly thank you. But for those of you that did make it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.